Well, my friends, as you can imagine, there was another story that made the headlines and nobody seems to know anything about it because perhaps maybe it deals with the subject matter they have a hard time grasping, and that's the notion of genetic information, genomes, and who owns who you are. As of March the 24th, 2025, 23andMe, the once vaunted and celebrated genetic testing company that brought these personalized ancestry and health insights to millions. Oh, look, we have Irish in us. It's filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the bankruptcy court for the Eastern District of Missouri. Now, the filing marks an extremely pivotal moment for a company that, since its founding in 2006, has amassed a genetic database of approximately 15 million users, individuals who willingly submitted their saliva samples in exchange for revelations and insight into their heritage and provenance and perhaps predispositions to certain health conditions. Okay, fine. But now with the company's financial collapse that's looming, a profound and scary question and chilling observation emerges. What happens to this vast trove of incredibly sensitive genetic information, which is you? Not information, it's you. The implications of this, I mean, they extend far beyond some corporate oops or something. This puts us and plunges us into, I'm going to say it, a dystopian realm, a dark area where privacy and autonomy and information and the very essence of human identity are now at stake. Are you catching this? Because I happen to catch Fox News talk about this, and I don't think they got one. Well, it surprised me. This is not some trivial matter of a business, shuttering its doors. Oh, no. It's a potential breach in the protection, the fortress, I guess, of personal sovereignty, autonomy. It echoes Orwellian dystopian surveillance, science fiction nightmares, and a big brother that you can't even conceive of. A reality that few seem or are able to fully grasp. Now, I don't want to overreact. I want to react. This is not overreaction. This is reaction. The genetic data held by 23andMe is not just some collection of, abstract codes. It's not like an operating system for your phone. It's the raw material of human life and you. Each sample, contains DNA sequences that reveal not only your ancestry, but also your potential vulnerabilities to disease, familial connections. It's great for that cold case stuff. Hey, you have some adoption out there that you swore was sealed, and one day knock, knock, knock. Dad, who are you? I'm the child you abandoned. The one whose records you thought were sealed. And all of this by extension, intimate details about relatives who may never have consented to such exposure. Because there's a derivative part. Ask about mitochondrial connection and cold case solutions. What if one day we find out that there is a genetic code or a genetic link to homosexuality, diabetes, mental illness, and I've got it? And you show up to work and they do some background scan on you and they say, ooh, you've got R563. Not good. This is a predisposition for schizophrenia. How do you know that? From your 123andMe. Oh, I didn't consent to that. Well, it's out there. This information that was once, I guess, confined to the world of personal curiosity now is on the edge of becoming a commodity. Bought and sold, a commodity. Assets sold in a bankruptcy sale. With the filing cabinets and the office furniture, the data. Who owns that? What is it? Is it it's not a bank with money. It's you. I can't say that enough. Is it potentially transferable to unknown companies, entities, countries, pharmaceutical giants, insurance companies, foreign governments, the deep state, police state, intel state, shadow government, big pharma, even criminal actors? You know, the company's privacy policy explicitly states that in the event of bankruptcy, merger, acquisition, reorganization, or sale of assets, customers' personal information may be accessed, sold, or transferred as part of that transaction. And this clause, buried in fine print that few users likely read or understood, you know how it is when you when you upgrade your operating system. Do you agree? Yeah. They didn't understand this when they eagerly spat into a tube. And now this reality looms as a gateway to a future where control over one's genetic identity and, I submit, identity is relinquished, sold, given, purchased by the highest bidder. And the severity of this scenario cannot be overstated. I can't emphasize this enough. And I know that in my country, a lot of people really don't, especially if it involves any kind of intellectual heavy lifting, they don't particularly care for this. But unlike a credit card number or social security number, which can be changed or mitigated or something, if compromised, genetic data is immutable. It is the unalterable God's fingerprint and blueprint of who you are. It's you. It's a permanent record that cannot be rewritten or erased. And if this data falls into the wrong hands, the consequences are beyond catastrophic. Imagine an insurance company purchasing this database and using it to deny coverage or inflate premiums based on genetic predispositions you might have or tendencies to conditions like cancer or Alzheimer's or diabetes or whatever. Practices that, while restricted in some contexts by laws like the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, I believe, GINA, in the U.S., the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, GINA, which sounds like, anyway, it remains poorly regulated in other non-dealt with areas. Consider this. Pharmaceutical companies mining the data to target vulnerable populations with tailored drugs or governments, domestic or foreign, building profiles on citizens for surveillance, social control, even eugenics-inspired programming. These aren't far-fetched. Do you think they are? You think I'm getting all Alex Jonesy on you? Do you? You think these are far-fetched sci-fi fantasies? They are absolutely, positively plausible, actual, realistic outcomes grounded in the capabilities of modern technology and the precedents, the use of data misuse, already seen in breaches like the 23andMe hack. Remember that one, which exposed the personal information? See, you don't remember this because there's so many hacks. Every 2 hours there's a new hack. How about 6.9 million users were exposed? And what makes the situation even more alarming is the apparent apathy or ignorance or nescience or among the public. They don't even understand AI. Americans don't, as long as they've got their phone, as long as they've got their memes, I guess. Many of the 23andMe users, those, quote, stupid people, as some might harshly label them, I'm sorry, but they signed up for this service with a sense of giddy excitement, thrilled to discover they're 10% Irish, or we're related to a Viking. Remember that? I've got people in my family and friends, and I'm saying, why did you do this? Oh, there you go again. You and your conspiracy. See, to them, the act of submitting DNA was a fun kind of a parlor trick, a novelty gift for the holidays, not some surrender or abnegation of their most private biological secrets to a corporation that could one day collapse. This naivete, it reflects, I think it indicates a broader failure, a broader societal failure to comprehend the stakes involved. But it's not just that. Look, we don't even understand diets or food or radiation or nothing. The revelation of your heritage, while perhaps emotionally satisfying, I guess, pales. Listen, dear friend, pales in comparison to the potential for that same data to be weaponized against you or your kinfolk or your relatives. Genetic information is not just about the individual. I'm telling you again, it implicates entire bloodlines, creating this ripple effect of vulnerability that extends to parents, siblings, brothers, sisters, cousins, children, distant relatives who never agreed to participate. And I'm going to say it again, the Orwellian dystopian overtones of this crisis, it's a crisis, are unmistakable. In 1984, George Orwell depicted a world where every action, every thought, every identity was monitored and controlled by this omnipresent state. Big Brother. The 23andMe bankruptcy brings us perilously, dangerously close to an actual version of that Orwellian dystopia, where the state or its corporate proxies could control genetic data as a tool of domination. Think about this. Unlike Orwell's, telescreens which watch from the outside, this surveillance operates from within, encoded, in our very cells. The transfer of such data in, let's say, a bankruptcy sale could enable a level of profiling and manipulation that makes traditional Big Brother tactics seem quaint, innocent by comparison. Imagine a future where your genetic markers determine your job prospects, your social status, or even your freedom. And I haven't even brought into social credit scores and the like. All because some defunct company sold your DNA to an entity with no accountability to you. Now, from a scientific perspective, the risks are seriously compounded by the rapid evolution of genomic technology. I mean, this is happening so fast. If you think, and let me throw in AI. Oh my God. Supercomputing, what might seem benign today, say some predisposition to lactose intolerance, hey, it happens, could tomorrow be linked to more significant traits as research advances. You see, the ability to re-identify anonymized, anonymized, as in anonymous, anonymized genetic data is also improving. Meaning that even if 23andMe claims to strip the identifiers from the shared, databases and data sets, sophisticated algorithms, AI, could reconnect that information to specific individuals. This isn't speculation. Oh, no. Studies have already demonstrated the feasibility of such re-identification. Amplifying, dear friend, listen to me, adding to the peril, the fright, the fear that if the database is sold to entities or falls into the, let's say an innocent person gets it and then sells it to somebody else. But anyway, if it falls into entities or groups unbound by 23andMe's original privacy promises, however, flimsy they may have been, the company's assertion that any buyer must adhere to, quote, applicable privacy laws offers zero comfort. Zero. When those laws vary widely across jurisdictions and countries and the like, and when they're also outpaced by technological capabilities. You see, the sci-fi dimension, what we used to call sci-fi is here now. This sci-fi risk of this predicament, it evokes images of Gattaca. Remember that? A firm where genetic determinism indicates every aspect of life, or Blade Runner, where bioengineering kind of blurs and obfuscates the lines between human and machine. I mean, it's funny how these great stories turn out to be often true. But this is no longer fiction. It's tangible now. It's a tangible threat, and it's unfolding in real time. The 15 million DNA profiles held by 23andMe represent a treasure trove for anyone seeking to exploit human biology, whether for profit or power or something even more sinister, if there is such a thing. I mean, the possibility of this data being acquired by a foreign adversary, oh my God, China, raises national security concern. Could it be used to target specific populations or engineer biological weapons tailored to genetic vulnerabilities? Maybe African Americans, maybe gay people, maybe people from Cleveland have different genetic, frameworks that make certain bioweapons more targetable. And closer to home, law enforcement agencies have already tapped public genealogy databases to solve crimes, right? Remember that? Remember the Golden State Killer case? That's good. While 23andMe has resisted such requests to date, a new owner might not share that restraint, might not see that restraint as being plausible or worthy of following. Thus, here's the thus part, turning your DNA into an involuntary witness against you or your family. Fifth Amendment be damned, ladies and gentlemen. So why then? Why then do you think the public, why don't they grasp this? Why don't they grasp the gravity, the seriousness, the risk of this? Well, part of the answer lies in the seductive allure of genetic testing itself. Getting that graph that says, look, I'm Portuguese. Okay. The promise of self-discovery, finding out who I am. Remember that, who was that, Gates? What's that PBS thing where they go and, hey, look at this. Michelle Pfeiffer her uncle was Vlad the Impaler. Oh, okay. It's kind of that collective drone, tapping into the deep human yearning, blinding these people to the long-term risk, or maybe they just can't understand it. Marketing campaigns have always framed the DNA kits as harmless fun, and not as a pact with a corporation or some sinister company. What's even more interesting is that the abstract nature of genetic data, unlike, a stolen wallet or hacked email, it makes it harder for people to visualize the danger. Yet, the danger is real. And the bankruptcy of 23andMe crystallizes that in a way that demands immediate attention. The company's collapse is not just a business failure. It's a breach of trust, a fracture in the illusion that our most intimate information remains ours to control. For those who now tremble at the thought of their DNA getting out of the ordinary, there are steps to mitigate the risk, though they come with caveats. Users can log into 23andMe accounts. They can navigate to settings and request the permanent deletion of their data, a process that takes up to 45 days under California law. and doesn't require the removal of data already shared with third parties or retained for legal compliance. Physical samples may be destroyed, but digital traces could linger, especially if the bankruptcy court prioritizes, listen to me, creditors over consumer privacy. And the window to act regarding all this may be closing as the court-supervised sale proceeds as follows or unfolds over the next 45 days. So potentially culminating, I think, in an auction where the genetic database is a prized asset. Look, in the end, the 23andMe bankruptcy business is a wake-up call. And I think it's a stark reminder that in our rush to uncover our past, we may have mortgaged our future. You see, these stupid people, and sometimes I got to stop myself because I say it myself, well, you were stupid to do it, but these people who signed up for this weird kind of this lark, this folk, this function, whatever it is, they're not the only ones at fault. The system that allowed this data to be collected and commodified and sold and marketed and now potentially sold bears equal blame. See, this is a story of hubris, in addition, but also ignorance and the unchecked, unregulated power of technology. The same way we deal with AI, we just assume, well, it's going to be okay, right? I mean, somebody's keeping an eye on this. No. If we do not demand stronger immediate protections from the government, legal, ethical, technological, religious, moral, to safeguard our genetic selves, our identities, we risk stepping into a world, oh my God, where the line between the science and tyranny and this Orwellian horror is true. And the data that defines us, because it is us. You don't want it to be used, obviously, by the wrong folks. The clock is ticking, my friend, and the stakes could not be higher. So let me ask you something. What do you think about this? What would be the best way to make people aware of it? What do we need to do to make people focus on this? Well, I know what we do. First of all, you like this video, subscribe to the channel. 85% or so of the people watching the videos don't even subscribe. And make sure you tell everyone. Make sure you tell everyone. Pass this on. Let them see this. Let them think, especially people that you know who have signed up. Because this is not just what if. This is now. And comment as you see fit.